The Katy Perry situation just got worse. Sorry, what is this? Is this a Katy Perry song? Or is this some sort of baseline crap SoundCloud remix they're just playing while I browse?
Katy Perry just ended her own career after facing huge trouble over lots of problems. From fake girl power to silly space tricks, she's been making herself look bad every time.
He wants her to be happy and he wants her to be authentic. He just wants her to stop and enjoy the life that she has built.
Her album 43 was a big failure. Fans left her. Orlando Bloom broke up with her. And her tour was terrible, with over 70% empty seats.
Why did Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom break up after 9 years?
Let's talk about Katy Perry, the pop star who became a walking mess and somehow managed to end her own career with a bunch of choices. So dumb you almost wonder if she's doing it on purpose for attention. You know, there was a time when Katy Perry, that actually mattered. She used to be everywhere. Radio, TV, and award shows. You literally couldn't walk into a store without hearing some catchy song playing through the speakers.
A lot of people have filmed her just sprinting around the stage. Alright, go, Farrah, calm down.
She was the queen of catchy pop songs, the kind of singer who could drop a single and the whole world would hum it for months. But fast forward to now, and she's basically the internet's favorite joke. Seriously, Katy Perry is what happens when a midlife crisis meets a PR team with zero brain cells.
Just for herself, really. It was a selfish mission and everyone kind of saw through it. I did a full video reacting to that situation where Katy Perry basically said this was a huge step forward for human.
The fall from grace is honestly impressive. From being the best with Teenage Dream to awkwardly running in circles on stage like she's lost at a dance class, Katy's entire brand is now just cringe content. The internet is eating her alive. Her desperate attempts to bring back her fame have only made things worse. She's been trying everything. Ridiculous girl power songs that sound like they were written by a group of out-toughed men. Space tricks that made her look more like a billionaire's groupie than a cultural icon. And performances so weird even your drunk aunt at a wedding would look more put together.
What you're doing is you're like really finding the love for yourself because you gotta trust in yourself.
What's even funnier is how her own fans have had enough. The same people who used to scream every word to California Girls are now the ones making fun of her on TikTok. It's almost sad. Almost, but let's be real. This is entirely her own doing. Katy is not the icon she pretended to be. Never was. She's a product of good marketing, bad choices, and absolutely no self-awareness. And trust me, we're going to break down exactly how she flushed her entire career down the toilet with the grace of someone tripping over their own shoelaces.
Sorry, did she say sorry, guy, if you didn't pay that much? Like, you know, you don't get to see her boobs because, you know, well, you paid for the cheap seats though, didn't you? Right, so you're not getting to see them.
See, the downfall didn't happen overnight. This train wreck started way back. You know what's wild? Katy Perry actually started out singing church music. Yep, our queen of weird dresses and cringy lyrics used to sing about Jesus. She was raised by super strict religious parents, the kind who probably think pop music is the devil's ringtone. She'd be at church performing church songs, thinking she was going to inspire the world. But plot twist, her first church album dropped when she was just 16 and failed harder than her latest tour sales.
How successful this album has been. Her tour, which has been taking the internet by storm because it's arguably one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
At that point, Katy had a choice. Stay true to her values and keep working in church music or sell out for fame. Guess which option she took? The woman literally said, and I quote, she sold her soul to the devil. I'm not even making that up. Imagine how messed up your decision-making has to be to proudly say that out loud. But hey, at least she was honest for once. Off she went to California, determined to make it big, even if it meant turning her back on everything she claimed to believe in.
Sorry, is that a with like a hernia? Like is that a hernia? Like a poop with sweet corn? Because sweet corn doesn't digest, does it, guys? So I think like this person, I have no idea.
And it worked sort of. Her breakout hit, I Kissed a Girl, dropped in 2008 and instantly turned her into the center of attention. But let's not forget that song was basically a giant middle finger to her upbringing. Religious groups lost their minds. Her family was probably one group therapy session away from disowning her. And Katy, she didn't care because attention equals relevance. And Katy Perry was addicted to both. That moment right there was the start of her career-long habit of changing herself for fame. Changing her values like she changes wigs. It never ends well. But I'll give her this. For a while, the sellout game worked. Enter the Teenage Dream era. Back in 2010, Katy dropped the album that would make her pop royalty. Teenage Dream wasn't just successful, it made history. She became the first woman ever to get 5 #1 Billboard Hot 100 singles from one album. California Girls, Teenage Dream, Firework, E.T., Last Friday Night. They were everywhere. You couldn't escape them. It was like Katy Perry had the cheat codes to pop music. Or so we thought.
Katy's recent album got released. It's called 1432. Now we're going to have a look at the streams of how that's done later in this video. And to celebrate the release of her new album, she released a tour called the Lifetimes Tour, and she's currently going around the globe performing it.
The reality is, her success wasn't exactly her own. The hits that had everyone obsessed, yet those were carefully made by top producers, not Katy herself. She was basically the singing puppet, dancing on stage while the real magic happened, behind the scenes. And you know who one of those puppet masters was? Dr. Luke. Yep, the same Dr. Luke, later accused of assault by Kesha while that whole mess was happening. Katy stayed suspiciously quiet, pretending like none of it concerned her, even though her entire career was built on the guy's work.
He advised her against this album. She did it. Now, again, this album had a lot of problems, specifically the Dr. Luke of it all, producer who was having so much accusations himself and with Kesha and everything else. But Kesha said Katy knew, and then Katy basically was like, I don't care, I'm working with Dr. Luke again.
During her so-called peak, when everyone thought Katy Perry was this fearless girl power icon, the cracks were already showing. The hypocrisy was massive, the exploitation obvious, and the pandering relentless. But as long as the money and the radio play kept flowing, Katy kept smiling, dressing up in cupcake bras, and pretending like her whole empire wasn't built on a foundation of lies.
Apparently, she received little to no support from Bloom, who blasted the embarrassing debacle during Explosive Row.
Her global tour for Teenage Dream pulled in a casual $59.5 million, and the Grammy nominations came flooding in. She looked unstoppable, but behind the glitter and wigs was a house of cards just waiting to collapse. Even back then, people questioned how real her success was, and now with hindsight, it's clear Katy Perry's entire brand was a ticking time bomb. The seeds of her downfall were planted from the start. And let me tell you, watching them finally explode has been the most entertaining thing she's done in years. The thing about Katy Perry's so-called girl power is that it's about as deep as a puddle in the middle of a California drought. Back in 2012, Billboard handed her that Woman of the Year title like she was some kind of revolutionary leader for women. But let's be honest, the only thing revolutionary about Katy back then was how fast she managed to fool everyone. Her whole girl boss image was built on glitter, cleavage, and catchy pop lyrics. No activism, no substance, just bubblegum girl power for people who couldn't tell the difference between empowerment and a push-up bra. And let's not forget her last real high point was the Super Bowl halftime show in 2015. She managed to pull that off, I'll give her that. But the second the lights dimmed, the desperation kicked in. Everything after that screamed, please, I'm still relevant. From bizarre political lyrics to awkward interviews, Katy was spiraling, and everybody could see it. The sad part is all this fake girl power could have maybe been forgiven if she actually stood up when it mattered. But nope, Katy Perry's hypocrisy hit a new low when Dr. Luke, the guy behind her biggest hits, got exposed. This man, who basically made her entire pop career, was facing serious assault and abuse. Allegations from Kesha in 2014. The whole #Free Keisha movement exploded. Fans, celebrities, activists, everyone was rallying behind Kesha. But Katy, crickets. For years, she paraded herself as this empowering voice for women, talking about strength and independence in every interview. But when it came time to actually support another woman going through hell, she went radio silent. Because let's be honest, Katy Perry's loyalty lies with chart positions, not actual people. She stayed neutral, which is just PR speak for I don't want to mess up my album sales.
Now, notice, I've never, in 9 years, I hadn't seen them together until she needed to launch this new album. I never really saw them, and instead, she was out there promoting the couple as much as the album. It was pretty awful.
Katy Perry's downfall is one of the most spectacular public implosions we've seen in pop music. It all started when she folded during her court depositions with Dr. Luke, basically admitting he never assaulted her, a move that exposed her empowered woman image as nothing but empty lyrics. Her fans were furious. The same people who once sang Firework at the top of their lungs saw her for what she really was, a fame-hungry performer who abandoned her so-called values for a few more hits. But the self-sabotage didn't stop there. On American Idol, she forced an unwanted kiss on a teenage contestant on live TV. Later, old clips came back of her groping Justin Bieber on stage. Imagine if the roles were reversed, careers would have ended overnight. Katy kept pushing her cringy, tone-deaf antics, culminating in a bizarre 11-minute space stunt with Jeff Bezos in 2024. She claimed it was about empowering women, but everyone saw it for what it was, a desperate PR grab. Even her fiancé Orlando Bloom called it cringeworthy before finally leaving her after years of standing by her. Then came her album 143, a commercial and critical disaster. featuring a tone-deaf girl power anthem produced by Dr. Luke, the same man at the center of her credibility collapse. The album bombed, her tour flopped with empty arenas, and fans mocked her every move. Katy's once loyal audience turned on her, roasting her on TikTok and turning her empowerment slogans into punchlines. Her entire brand has become a meme, cautionary tale of a pop star so lost in her own hype she mistook bad stunts for activism. Even as her career crumbles, Katy refuses to accept reality, spiraling on social media and disabling comments to avoid the backlash she created. The pop world has moved on, embracing new stars like Dua Lipa and Olivia Rodrigo, while Katy clings to a legacy that no longer exists. Katy Perry didn't just fade away, she self-destructed, and the world watched every awkward moment. What do you think? Was Katy ever truly authentic, or was she always a walking PR stunt waiting to implode? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell because her next flop might be even wilder, and you won't want to miss it.